What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and another win, 11 in a row. First time I think they said they've ever done that. It's a good win. However, I learned today that Jonathan Moss is apparently not a Chelsea fan. I know what you're thinking. If you watch my videos before, you're thinking, oh, Mason, you always complain about the referees. Today, I said last game was one of the worst. Today was so one-sided, and so obviously one-sided, that even me, who normally, as a fan, obviously, I joke about conspiracy theories, I joke about, oh, you paid the referee off, all that stuff. Today, even the logical side of my brain is thinking, did something happen here? Is Jonathan Moss being paid off or something? Because it was that bad. And, like I said, you guys are probably thinking, oh, well, you always say that. You always say that about the referees. Even when they're just average, you say that they're bad. Today was the worst. And I have several instances that I can bring up. I have... I have 4 different things that I can talk about. So, let's talk about it. First of all, the yellow cards. Now, Costa getting his yellow, whatever. It's probably a yellow card challenge. That's fine. Which, on a side note, the commentators today, which, if you don't live in America, you don't know. But the commentators for me today were Peter Drury and I think Gary Neville. So... just some very classic, non-biased commentating after he got the yellow. Oh, the devil has returned! Yeah, because that foul definitely is exactly what Costa used to do. I mean, that's prime Costa right there. I mean, that is, ooh, dirty player. He deserves a red for that, because it's Costa. You're supposed to commentate from an unbiased perspective. That's not unbiased, saying that the devil's returned. Come on. Anyway, so Costa gets the yellow, and it's probably deserved. He'll miss the next game, unfortunately. But then, within the next 10 minutes, twice, MacArthur does the exact same thing. Trips up somebody from behind while they're on a forward run attacking the goal. If Costa gets a yellow for it, MacArthur should get a yellow for it. But no, he does it twice, gets away with it. Second half, Conte gets a yellow for persistent fouling. Okay, fine. He probably should have gotten one for pulling whoever it was they lost the ball to in the first half. So, okay, fine. You want to give him for persistent fouling? Go ahead. Punchin had 4 fouls. MacArthur, who should have already been carded for the 2 fouls from behind, committed 2 other fouls besides that one. So he's on 4 fouls. And then in one little turn, fouls Hazard 3 times trying to get the ball from him. And then it finally gets pulled back after Hazard loses the ball. But that's still like 5 fouls, at least. And no yellow for MacArthur today. At all. Like, no yellow. It wasn't even like, oh yeah, he finally got one at the very end of the game after that 1 foul. No, he didn't get a card today. For some reason. Even though he probably had 5 or 6 fouls, Conte probably had 4 or 5, and he got a yellow. Punchin had 4 at least, didn't get a yellow. Okay, fine. Whatever. You want to be a little bit inconsistent, that's fine. Fabregas comes on the field, first foul, not even a bad one, yellow card. How can that not be one-sided? Dan cuts the ball this way, doesn't have possession of it, so it's not like Fabregas is stopping a dangerous attack. He just comes in a little bit late, clips him. There's no yellow in that. It's just a foul. And somehow, oh, yellow. It's stupid. It's really stupid. The only yellow that I thought was correct today, well, okay, like I said, Costa's, Conte's, I'm sorry, got something in my throat, scratching. Costa and Conte's yellows deserved. But the fact that MacArthur didn't get a yellow, the fact that Punchin didn't get a yellow, for those same reasons that they did, frustrating. Delaney got a yellow for sliding into Hazard as he's running in towards goal. That's fine. That's definitely deserved. That is probably worse challenge than Costa's. They deserves a yellow and in a worse position as well. So that's the only one that I'm just like, that's the only good call you've made today. The rest of it, completely awful. Let's go to the general fouls. Because unlike Sunderland, where it was they were bullying Costa all over the field and then they get fouls for these little nothing calls that for some reason the referee was giving. Today, they weren't really bullying anybody. It was just, it was just one side. So in that sense, it was actually better than the Sunderland game. But there's still so many times where there's just nothing happened. Nothing really happened. Challenge comes in, either they get the ball, or they don't even really put in a challenge. Crystal Palace player goes down, it's a call. That's it. Just, how? How is that a foul? How on earth do you call that a foul? Benteke throws his hand into Cahill's face. Nothing. Gets a shot away at two. If he had hit it a little bit better and scored, I definitely would have been raising some hell, but luckily he mishit it. But yeah, it just comes up, hand to the face, chests the ball, and gets the volley away, and the referee doesn't call anything. Just like, really? Really? We're not going to call that? And then on top of that, in the first half, one of Palace's best chances in the first half came from lunging in, two-footed, studs up on Azpilicueta. He got the ball, but that's dangerous. And once again, adds weight to the fact that he should have been carded today. I don't know how you missed that. They didn't even go back to show it. I saw it real time. You could see, studs up, goes in two-footed on a challenge. And, but he got the ball. I don't care. It's a dangerous challenge. You card that. You stop the play and card it. So, the yellow cards, ridiculous. The general fouls today, ridiculous. 5 minutes of extra time at the end of the game. Where the hell do you get 5 minutes from? If you don't know how stoppage time works, 30 seconds added on for every card. So, yellow, red card, 30 seconds added on. Okay, simple enough. Injury time, however long the injury lasted. So we had 2 or 3, I think. I think we had 1 for Cabaye, and then we had 1 for Punchin. Both of which, if you combine them together, probably lasted about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. And on top of that, you had a card for Conte, had a card for Delaney, and I think that was pretty much it for cards in the second half. We had 1 for Fabregas, but that was in stoppage time. So, 2 cards, that's a minute. Plus a minute and a half from injuries, so maybe 2 minutes. No time is added on for subs. Unless the referee specifically stops it, that time is part of the game. You don't add it on. Where do you get 5 minutes from? I truly do not know where on earth they get 5 minutes from. There were no goals, which normally adds some time on. So, I don't know. I truly don't know. It was kind of like the USA-Belgium game, if you remember, like way back, 2014 World Cup, so long ago. No, but USA-Belgium, they're into stoppage time of extra time. They just got a goal back in the second half of extra time to make it 2-1, and it felt like Belgium were just wasting so much time. You get to the end of it, 1 minute. It was like, how? How on earth is there only 1 minute after they wasted probably 2 minutes just a few seconds ago? Here, it's the opposite, but still true. How on earth is there 5 minutes? Oh, well, it's at home against Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace is the home team. Of course they're going to get more time added on. It's not right. It's not freaking right. And then the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest sign today that it was a one-sided match from the refereeing point of view. We're in our best form of attack. We're attacking. We have one of our best chances. Costa gets the ball up in the box. Shot comes in. Ball is bouncing around. It looks like it could go anywhere. Cabaye is down on the floor. Ball rolls out to the top of the box, and Alonso or Hazard, one of the two, they win it top of the box. Referee blows the whistle. Stops the attack dead because Cabaye's on the floor. Possible head injury. Like, okay, fine, whatever. They really want to protect that. That's fine, I'll deal with it. Play starts back up, drops it in the box for Crystal Palace to have. And at this point, I kind of lost it. I'm a very emotional person, so I tend to yell at the TV a lot. I tend to yell and scream at the referees whenever they're being idiots. This is probably one of the worst, though. Like, I've always yelled. I have never actually physically gotten up, frustrated, and started jumping and yelling at the TV as much as I have right then. Because, are you serious? We have possession of the ball. It's our ball. You blow the play to stop it, to stop our attack. We have a chance for somebody to hit a shot from outside the box, right outside the box. They have a good chance at a shot. You blow the whistle to stop the play, and then give the ball to Crystal Palace. Even Costa, you could see him, like after Hennessy had the ball and he was about to kick it up the field, and everybody was getting up, Costa's standing there like about 25 yards out, and he looks at the referee and he goes, because even he is like, why isn't it ours? We had possession. Why do they get the ball? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, I could talk about it forever. I could complain about it forever. Long story short, something was up with the referees today. I don't know what it was. I don't know if Moss just let the fans get in his ear and just let it get to him, or if there was something else going on where he just has some sort of grudge against Chelsea. I don't know. Like, I'm not one to talk about conspiracy and talk about, oh, there's a campaign against us. I'm not Jose Mourinho. But there was something today. This is probably one of the worst referee games for one side that I've ever seen. So, yeah. Done talking about that, done venting about that. On to the team. Played pretty poorly today for the most part. Just a lot of it did have to do with the fact that Palace, they were pressuring high, they were pressuring hard. And, you know, we've seen before how when Tottenham did it, it really showed. It showed that we weren't able to really handle that very well. And part of that is because, I don't know, we tend to play around with it a bit too much instead of just kind of getting it forward, trying to move it down the field. We like to keep possession around in the back a lot. When a team's pressuring high, that can be pretty dangerous. So, you know, you see that, you see the problem, you see all that going on, and then we get a goal right before halftime. Most teams would be like, yes, that goal that changes it around, that changes the halftime team talk. But in my opinion, it actually kind of hurt us a little bit, because one of the things that's been consistent about Chelsea's game over the past, I would say not against Sunderland, because similar situation, we scored right before halftime. But you go back to the West Brom game, you go back to the Man City, the Tottenham game, one of the things that sort of changed for us was second half. First half was pretty poor. You know, except against West Brom, I would say we controlled the game. We just weren't really quality finishing. There was something lacking there. Well, against Man City, against Tottenham, we went into halftime. I think against Tottenham, I can't remember if we were tied or if we were down 1. I know against Man City we were down 1. Second half, we came out livelier. We came out a lot stronger, a lot faster. Today, it was like I had that sense that, okay, it's 0-0 at halftime. We're going to come out second half just taking it to them, because it was a pretty poor first half from us. But then Costa scores, and it's almost like that sort of worked against us, because we came out second half with that same sort of mindset like that we went into halftime with. So I don't know, it felt like I kind of wanted it to go 0-0 at halftime, so that way when we came out second half, Conte would be in their ears and they would be coming out much stronger in the second half. So, you know, maybe I'm just thinking too much about it. Maybe that wouldn't have happened. Maybe they would have come out even worse. I don't know. But for what it is, first half goal, that was enough to see us through. We had several good chances in the second half that really, we should have put the game away, but we seem to have issues putting the game away recently, so that's a little bit worrying. But player performances, Courtois didn't really have a whole lot to do today. It's kind of surprising considering how much Palace had the ball, but at the same time, it's not, because Palace are that team that they tend to do well, but for some reason they just lack that quality up top that allows them to get the finish. So even though they had a lot of possession, a lot of it was outside the box, and it was like they couldn't really break through. So they didn't have a whole lot of shots today. There were still a couple times that Courtois had to come out and collect it. One in particular is a corner, and he just comes a long way out, long arms outstretched, and he's like miles above everybody. But, you know, based on the save that he made against Sunderland, I'm completely happy with the fact that he didn't have to do anything today, because he's not always going to make those saves, but I like the fact that he does get a chance to sort of let the defense do the work whenever. I prefer he not have to make the world-class saves, is what I'm trying to say. Defensively, Cahill, more mistakes today than in the last game. Just moments of indecision, moments of, it's like he makes the wrong decision at times. He should be tracking this man, but instead he's stepping across to help out two defenders already on one man, and all of a sudden now that guy's wide open. Or there are times whenever he should just be heading it away, kicking it away. Instead he's like cutting it back, playing it to a defender under pressure or something like that. So, I don't know. Like I said, I am critical of him, but it's only because he's made so many mistakes in the past. I expect him to do better, and he's still having those issues. You still are scared whenever a team's going down the right side or our left side. I'm still scared because you never know what's going to happen with Cahill. You never know if he's going to whiff a clearance, if he's going to try to dribble out of pressure and get caught with the ball. You never know if that one cut he's going to slip, and all of a sudden now they're through. So, David Luiz, though, played well today, I would say. Couple moments got caught out, but overall he was pretty solid. Just a good, solid defensive player, and that's not really what I expect out of him. You know, before he came to Chelsea, that wasn't what I expected out of him. I expected him to be erratic and flying all over the place. Today, and over the past several games, he's been very calm. He's been very solid, composed, not flying out. You know, he still does it from time to time, but for the most part, he stays there. He does what he needs to do. He does his defensive work. If he ever picks up the ball, then he'll go forward. But that's about it. So I really like what he does. Azpilicueta still doing his defensive work. Got on the assists today, so that's always a good thing. But you know, he constantly puts in a challenge, constantly puts pressure on whoever's coming up with the ball. So it's never free reign for them. It's never okay, so here comes punching down the line and he's past Moses. It looks like he may get across, and no, if he's past Moses, Azpilicueta is there, and he's not getting across it. He either has to go backwards, or Azpilicueta is going to win the ball. So, just really, still our best defensive player. On the wings, it was Alonso and Moses again. Moses today, I would say he's looking tired. I think just the constant starting every game, and Alonso too, but Moses especially, because most of the time I expect him to be just flying everywhere. Today he wasn't doing that as much. You know, it wasn't really what I expect out of Moses. With Alonso, he's always been a bit slow, so I don't expect him to be flying everywhere. But you could see the tiredness was there. There are only wingbacks right now, to be honest. I mean, Ivanovic, I don't think, has the ability to go up and down the field like they can. But there's a possibility, though, that with Kennedy returning on loan from Watford, because Watford aren't playing him at all, there's a possibility that he could play one of those positions. I would like to see that given a chance. But anyway, long story short, they both looked a bit tired. I would say of the two, Alonso probably had a slightly better game, only because he had more to do on that side. With Zaha getting up and down the line, you know, he had to put in a lot of defensive challenges. Still gets caught because he's not a good defender, I would say he's average at defending. But he still got back into position. He still slowed down Zaha's run a lot and got forward several times. I mean, had probably one of the best breakaway runs in the first half. So, you know, he still has these moments of just he's good on the ball, but it's defensively that he has some issues. Moses today, though, I think just because of the tiredness, he wasn't able to do as much as he normally does, and still created some chances, though. So it's still good. It's just not quite what I expect from him. Matic and Conte in the middle again. It's so hard for me with them because first of all, you want to look at the positive side most of all, and there's a lot of positives. But you also have to see there are some negative moments that I feel like you need to start talking to them about. You know, because there are moments where Matic, it's like he gets caught so focused on the ball that all of a sudden there's a cross coming in and he's stepped over to help, and now all of a sudden there's an open space in the middle of the field because that's where Matic should be. So it's like he gets caught stepping outside so many times, and he gets caught stepping to other players that should be covered by somebody else, that it leaves open this hole in the middle of the park. And then for Conte, while he's great on the ball, there's still times where it's like he gets caught under his own feet, and his feet move so quick that he doesn't even know what they're doing. And I mean, the one where he gave away the ball in the first half, I mean, it's kind of a problem. And it's not the first time that he's given the ball away cheaply. I mean, most of the time it comes because of his passes, but it's kind of an issue that's been there. And while he only does it like 3 times per game, I would say he doesn't do it quite that often. But it's not something you want your midfielders to do, especially if they're your defensive midfielders, because they're losing the ball in a dangerous position. He's giving the ball away, and all of a sudden they are there. They're in your half. They're not breakaway status. They are already broken away at that point. So it's like the positives that they do far outweigh the negatives, but the negatives are so dangerous for defending, for giving away a goal possibly, that you feel like Conte has to see that, and hopefully he'll change it. Hopefully he can do something about it to where it's not going to be a problem anymore. But like I said, they still do so much in the middle of the field. They still do so much defensively. It's hard to say that they're going to be taken on the side anytime soon, because they both do very well. Top, Costa, Hazard, Willian. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Hazard and Willian up there both did well today. I would say Willian, he came off looking a little bit tired. I wonder if he's still possibly struggling with some. He had an injury, some sort of little niggle. So I'm wondering if he's still possibly struggling with that, because while he still did some good stuff today, he still put in a lot of good defensive challenges. Going forward, I feel like he could do more. So I just have to wonder, is there a reason why he's not doing more? Is there something going on that's causing him to be a little bit off the pace? But he still does well getting back, tracking back, covering players. It's just, he does a lot. He runs all over the place. Almost like, Hazard, not Hazard, Moses and Conte. But Hazard of the two, definitely the better. While the first half he was kind of isolated, didn't really have a whole lot of time on the ball. Second half, when it opened up, he had so much time to run, played some great balls in, didn't get a goal, didn't get an assist, but you see the danger there. You see that he's constantly posing a threat. It's just so much that he does. But yeah, he's one of our best players, clearly, and it's so good to actually get to see it. It's nice to see him doing stuff instead of just, oh yeah, he's one of our best players. He didn't show it today, like some other players. Ozil. There are times where you see he's not getting the goals, he's not getting the assists, but he's still creating stuff. He's still doing things with the ball that nobody else on the field is doing. So, Costa up top, just what can I say? He's a maniac. He really does just put so much pressure on the defense. Eventually, he ran his legs out and had to get subbed off in the second half. But, the goal was a brilliant header. He put himself in a good position. And just other than that, he does so much off the ball. He puts so many challenges in. He pressures the defense so much. And he makes so many great runs, too. That's something that nobody really talks about. They talk about the pressure that he puts on players. They talk about his goals. They talk about him putting himself in the right position. They don't talk about the runs he makes off the ball. The ones that draw a defender with him. And honestly, I kind of realized this after I did my Sunderland review. One of the things that was an issue for him was that because Hazard wasn't on the field, it was like everybody closed him down. And that's honestly kind of what opened up the space for the goal for Willian and Fabregas to combine, was because everybody was focused on Costa. When Hazard's out there, you have to put at least 2 guys on Hazard, at least 2 guys on Costa. It opens up a lot of space. When there's just Costa out there, you can see everybody closed him down. All 3 of Sunderland's defenders were constantly on Costa. And he made those runs that opened up the space for players against Sunderland. It was just, that's what he did so well. And it's great to see him in such a great form. It's great to see him making those runs, doing so much, not just on the ball, but off the ball as well. He's an all-around, really complete striker. I hate the fact that we're not going to have him against Bournemouth, because I kind of expected him to score a ton of goals against Bournemouth. But anyway, into the second half, the subs. First one that came on changed the game. Fabregas, very early sub as well. Once again, kind of makes me wonder, was there something going on with Willian, because he came off so early. But yeah, Fabregas comes on for Willian. And almost it turns into almost a 4-5-1 where you've got Hazard and Moses on the wings. You've got a back four of Alonso, Cahill, David Luiz, Azpilicueta. You've got Fabregas, Matic, and Conte in the middle with Costa up top. And then it kind of turns into a 3-5-2 where Hazard pushes up, Alonso and Moses are now the wing backs, and then you've got the back three again. So I love the interchangeability of it. It mainly becomes a 4-5-1 whenever there was a lot of pressure from Crystal Palace because now you've got Hazard coming back and helping defend. And it almost turns into a 5-4-1 with like four across the middle just in some form or fashion. But, I mean, Fabregas came on, changed the game, did so much with the ball that nobody else was really doing today. And honestly, it was kind of the same thought that I had when they played West Brom at home, where you felt like if Fabregas were on the field earlier, he could have done more of this. He could have done more of this throughout the game and caused so many more issues because it's just what he does so well. He's so good on the ball. The balls he plays, the passes that he sends through are just inch perfect. And they almost always find their target. It feels like he could do it in his sleep. There's just so many times, I don't even know how he does it, but there's a moment he just picks up the ball. It feels like he just has a little bit of a look and then hits it, and it finds the perfect ball. But he definitely came on and changed the game. There was so much more pressure from Chelsea after that. Ivanovic came on for the second one and did okay. Mainly came on defensively, and I think possibly to give Moses a bit of a rest because, like I said, he was looking pretty tired. And then the last one, because Costa just ran himself to death, Batshuayi came on for Costa. Did a lot of running, but I'm a bit worried for the Bournemouth game because I just don't see him being able to play with the ball as much as Costa does. You know, like you see Costa, he can hold it up, he can turn a defender. With Batshuayi, he just seems like he runs a lot. You know, I haven't seen him do much on the ball. And who knows, maybe starting the game, maybe he'll have a chance to do something on it. Of course, I say that it could just be Pedro, Hazard, and Willian up top, and Batshuayi starts on the bench. But I doubt he'll do that. I think he'll probably go with an out-and-out striker. But I don't know. I'm a bit worried from what I've seen of Batshuayi so far. I mean, preseason he looked pretty good, but now he's starting to just kind of look like he's not great on the ball. It looks like he doesn't really do much with it. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how Bournemouth goes. Overall today, I mean, it was a good game. It was really, I would say it was probably our worst performance of all the games that we've had since the 3-4-3 switch. Just because we didn't really control it as much as we did. You know, the other 1-0 wins that we've had, we controlled the game. It just took a while to get that one goal. Today, it was like we didn't really control the first half, but we got a goal. Didn't really control the second half until the last 15 minutes. Or, well, more like whenever Fabregas came on, so more like the last 30 minutes. So, it just didn't seem like a same Chelsea performance that I expect, and yet it was still a good game overall because we still got the goal, we still got the win, and we still had moments of brilliance out there. And considering the fact that, I mean, we just had game, 3 games in a week, yeah, it's a good performance. You know, you have a game on Sunday, you have a game on Wednesday, then you have a game on Saturday. That's a lot of games to go through. Most of these teams don't have to deal with that. I think Arsenal played on Saturday and then played on Tuesday, and now they're playing tomorrow. So they have a good amount of time in between each game. We had Sunday and then 1-2 a game, 1-2 a game. Not many teams have to deal with that. We're one of the few that did. And probably the only, we're probably the only top 5 team that had to deal with that. I may be wrong. I'll have to look that up, but it seems like it. But we've got Bournemouth next at home. We've got Stoke next after that at home. So it's a good run of games. I feel like we've got a good chance of doing some good here and just really pushing forward. Man City Arsenal play tomorrow, so somebody's dropping points. It's a good time right now. It's a good feel around the club. It's a good winning feel. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Let's extend the winning run. Let's make it 14 wins in a row. I know what you're thinking. That means we have to beat Tottenham away. We can do it. I believe in us. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this game? Do you agree with me about the refereeing and all the other stuff that I said? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I will see you at the next one. Peace out.